and welcome to another lesson. We're close to the end of October, and guess what holiday is coming up? Halloween. So it's a great excuse to talk about some scary and spooky English vocabulary and idioms. Also, I have a question. Are you a fan of horror movies? Well, I am, and in this lesson, apart from learning vocabulary and idioms, we're going to talk about 3 of my favorite horror movies. And we'll be using the new vocabulary and the new idioms we learned to describe these movies. I hope you are as excited as I am for this lesson. Let's start. Part 1. The Conjuring. Have you ever heard the word chilly? Chilly. It can be used for food when it's too hot. Chilly. It can also be used for the weather. Oh, it's a bit cold. It's a bit chilly. British people would say, bit chilly, innit? Now, you know that the backbone of your body is called the spine. Now, look at this. Spine chilling. Spine chilling. If something is spine chilling, that means it makes your spine cold. Spine chilling means extremely terrifying, frightening, and scary. It's spine chilling. The haunted house had a spine chilling atmosphere. The haunted house had a spine chilling atmosphere. The second word is supernatural. Now, natural as an adjective means whatever is normal, whatever is considered from nature, whatever exists in the world. But if something is supernatural, these are things which basically cannot be explained by science. For example, ghosts. Can you prove that ghosts exist? Well, no. Can you prove that they don't exist? So these are supernatural things. We cannot explain whether they exist or not. The movie features supernatural events that scare the characters. A very interesting adjective to use, especially when describing horror movies or horror books or horror stories. Suspenseful. Suspenseful. What does it mean? If something is suspenseful, it means it makes you full of excitement or anxiety about what is going to happen shortly. So you're watching a movie, you don't know what's going to happen next, but you're sure that something is gonna happen. It's suspenseful. You have this feeling of excitement and fear, and you're waiting to see what's gonna happen. The movie was so suspenseful, I couldn't look away. I was watching the movie, and it was so suspenseful, I could not look away. A lovely adjective. Eerie. Eerie. What does it mean? It means strange or frightening, or strange and frightening. There was an eerie silence in the old house. There was an eerie silence. Everything was silent, but in a strange and frightening way. And one last adjective to learn before we go on to the idioms. Gripping. Gripping. What does that mean? If something is gripping, it is so exciting and interesting that it holds your attention. You cannot pay attention to anything else. You're just watching this movie or you're just reading this book because it's so gripping. The plot was so gripping that I could not stop watching. The plot of the movie, the story of the movie, was so gripping that I could not stop watching. All right, before getting to one of my favorite movies, The Conjuring, we need to learn 3 idioms. Idiom number 1, send shivers down your spine. Hold on, let's break this down. You know what spine is, right? We talked about it. The backbone of your body. Now, if the weather is cold, your body might start shivering. That's like shaking in this way, in an uncontrolled way. Now, if something sends shivers down your spine, that means you have a shivering sensation in your back. Now, as an idiom, it means it makes you really frightened or excited, but in a frightening and spooky way. The ghostly figure sent shivers down my spine. The ghostly figure sent shivers down my spine. The next idiom is also very nice. Scare the living daylights out of somebody. Scare somebody, well, we know what that means. If you scare somebody, it's like, boo. But if something scares the daylights out of somebody, it means it's very scary and it frightens them badly. That jump scare scared the living daylights out of me. Now, jump scare is a scene in the movie where something suddenly happens out of nowhere and you don't expect it, and you're like, that's the jump scare. Now, the jump scare scared the living daylights out of me. And the last idiom for part 1, on the edge of your seat. If you are on the edge of your seat, that means you're very excited or you're full of suspense. You're waiting for something to happen. You're on the edge of your seat. The suspense kept me on the edge of my seat. All right, now we get to the fun part, introducing the first horror movie that I really like. The Conjuring. If you are looking for a spine-chilling experience, The Conjuring is the perfect choice. The movie is about a family haunted by a supernatural presence, and the tension builds throughout the film, making every moment incredibly suspenseful. The eerie atmosphere keeps you hooked, and the plot is so gripping that you'll be on the edge of your seat the whole time. There are plenty of terrifying moments that will scare the living daylights out of you, and certain scenes are guaranteed to send shivers down your spine. It's a horror classic you won't forget. So if you're a fan of horror movies, this is my first recommendation. Go watch it. And also, did you notice how I used the new words, the new adjectives, and the new idioms to describe this movie? So I also recommend writing down this movie description for yourself, underlying the new words and vocabulary and idioms that you learn. That's a very good way to practice. Moving on to part 2. Part 2. Sinister. Again, before introducing my next favorite horror movie, I'm going to teach you the necessary vocabulary and idioms. First adjective we want to learn in this part is disturbing. Disturbing. If something is disturbing, it's upsetting and it makes you feel anxious. The movie had some disturbing scenes that I could not stop thinking about. It makes you anxious, worried, or even sometimes disgusted. Ooh, I don't want to watch that. So disturbing. Next adjective is unsettling. Unsettling. If something is unsettling, it makes you feel uncomfortable. You watch it, but you don't feel comfortable. The unsettling music added to the creepy atmosphere. The unsettling music added to the creepy atmosphere. The music was unsettling. It made me feel uncomfortable. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Now, I have 2 idioms for you. The first one is get under your skin. Skin? Under your skin? Get under your skin? If something gets under your skin, what does it mean? It means it disturbs you or bothers you, but not momentarily. It bothers you and disturbs you in a lasting way. So you watch a horror movie now, and for an entire week, you're just thinking, and you're afraid of everything. Ooh, I can't be alone now. The movie has gotten under your skin. The creepy images really got under my skin. The creepy images really got under my skin. It means I saw the images. They were so disturbing and unsettling that even now, after a week, I still keep thinking about them. And the second idiom, make your blood run cold. Blood? Cold? If something makes your blood run cold, it makes you feel very scared and terrified. The strange noises in the film made my blood run cold. It means the strange noises scared me. Alright, we only needed these 2 words and these 2 new idioms to get to the description of my second most favorite movie of all time, The Sinister. Now, if you haven't watched it, and if you're a fan of horror movies, I highly recommend this one too. Sinister is one of the most disturbing movies out there. The story follows a writer who uncovers supernatural home movies, each one more unsettling than the last. The film is packed with suspenseful moments that will keep you on edge. And the images it shows will get under your skin. Some scenes are so creepy, they would make your blood run cold. It's a film that is hard to forget once you've seen it. So, go check it out. Part 3. The Babadook. This is a very creepy and eerie and unsettling movie, but let's just start with the vocabulary first. Psychological. I'm pretty sure you've heard this before and you know what it means, but let's review it. Psychological is something that is related to your mind and your brain and your emotions. But if a movie or a book is psychological, it causes fear through deep emotional disturbance. The film is more of a psychological thriller than a typical horror movie. Second adjective is intense. Intense. If something is intense, it's extreme, and it involves strong emotions. The final scene was so intense that I could hardly breathe. And the third word is haunting. Haunting, but what does it mean? Haunting as an adjective means frightening or disturbing in a way that lasts for a long time. The haunting images from the movie kept me awake all night. So I watched the movie last night and I went to bed, but when I was in bed trying to fall asleep, I could not get the images out of my mind. The images were haunting. And now, this is the final movie recommendation. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson so far. If you want to have the summary of this lesson and all other lessons of mine on YouTube in a single PDF file for free, make sure you download my Ultimate English book. And yes, you heard that right, this book is for free for my YouTube subscribers. and it has more than 500 pages of lesson summaries. How can you get it? It's very easy. Click on the link above this video, go to my website, type in your name, your email address, and your country. You will get the book in your inbox. And now, let's go to the last movie recommendation. The Babadook. The Babadook is not a typical horror movie. It's more of a psychological thriller. It tells the story of a mother and a son who are haunted by a strange figure. But the real terror comes from the emotional journey they go through. The movie is incredibly intense, with each scene building more tension than the last. The haunting visuals and deep emotional themes get under your skin. And the atmosphere is so creepy that it will send shivers down your spine. It's a powerful film that stays with you long after it's over. So if you're a fan of horror movies, make sure you check this out. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, click subscribe. See ya.